warm welcome along to you. It's another United Kingdom talk from myself, Chris Reardon. As always, thank you for all your emails and little bits and pieces through the post. I always get very excited for every single email that comes in. A little sparkle goes off in my head and I get excited. So thank you very much for those. If you ever want to join into the show, please feel free to do so. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Well, I had the unfortunate experience on Sunday, and I usually avoid these places like the plague on a Sunday, to go to a supermarket. What a nightmare that is. I don't know what it is, but it seems to bring out the entire world and its auntie. Have you ever been? I don't know what it's like wherever you are in the world, but certainly here in the UK, Sunday is not the day to go to a supermarket. I don't understand it. These parents seem to treat it as some sort of excursion for the children. Well, it wasn't like that when I was a child. Mind you, I have to say there weren't so many supermarkets around, and they certainly weren't open on a Sunday. All you had, you might have heard me talk about in a previous show, the little Asian corner shops. We had lots of those in the 80s. Sadly, a lot of those have closed down now. They were the only things really open on a Sunday. And I kind of wonder sometimes, is the fact that these big supermarkets are now allowed open on a Sunday, is that, you know, is that why all these little shops are closed down? It's a great shame. But you go in a supermarket on a Sunday. I've got a Sainsbury's just up the road. That's my nearest supermarket here. It's a nightmare, absolute nightmare, and people crash into you, and they don't seem to apologise. This is the thing. Now, I can't lie, you know, no one crashed into me on a Sunday, but you saw the kind of, as these people are pushing the prams around, I have to say, I'm sorry, girls, it's you lot. It's not the blokes. The blokes are very careful with their shopping trolleys. Not once have I been banged into by a man, a good-looking man and his shopping trolley. Unfortunately. I mean, there were many times I saw a couple of fit-looking lads in that supermarket on Sunday, and when they weren't looking, I quickly stepped out in front of their trolleys. But very, very quickly, they spotted me and stopped and apologised to me. What for? It was my fault. I'm sorry, ladies, it's you lot. You are the worst, but you should never, ever be giving shopping trolleys. I'll tell you what I think we're going to do now. What we're going to have to do, girls, is ban you from using shopping trolleys. You're going to be forced to carry around baskets. It's the only way we... Can you just not steer these things? What's going on there? Bang, 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 all over the place, dear. Or girls... Is it because you like me? Is that what it is? Is it that you seem to think if you bang your shopping trolley into a nice young fit man like myself, you're going to get a chance of marriage? Is that what it is? Do let me know. Has anyone else been into a supermarket on Sunday and swore they'd never do it again? I mean, all I wanted was some bananas and milk, which I suppose at the end of the day I could have got on the Monday. But Monday I'm particularly busy. I record a show, I have to get ready for the karaoke, go and do my swimming. Oh, there's always so much to do, dear. Always so much to do. So please, ladies, be careful with those shopping trolleys. No, in fact, don't use shopping trolleys anymore. Take around a handbasket. Now, I can hear ladies all over the world screaming now. They're screaming at me, but we have to do a lot of shopping. It won't go in the basket. No problem, dears. Go around 2 or 3 times. It's as simple as that. Let me know your thoughts on that, okay? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. One of the other reasons I went up to the supermarket on Sunday was to purchase the said super-duper toothbrush that I told you about, I think on the show last or the one before. It's an Oral-B. Now, what's it called? Oh, hang on, I might have it written down. The Oral-B Triumph. As shown on Channel 5. Channel 5 is one of the TV stations here in the UK. As shown on Channel 5's The Gadget Show. Now, this is the ultimate toothbrush. Apparently, they had a dentist on the telly, and they tested 5 different toothbrushes, and this one came out at the top. So I went up there, and I thought, well, this isn't going to be cheap, okay? So I took up with me, as well as a few pounds for shopping, okay? Incidentally, wasn't a lot in the dented tin baskets this week. Very disappointing. Do you ever look in there? You know, when you're in the supermarket, I hope you look in the dented tins basket. Always great bargains to have in there. But not this week, my love. Not this week. And I've also sussed out, right, a way to get more... I don't know where the supermarket where you are. Do you have a hot food counter? Now, this is a relatively new thing that we have. And certainly, the Sainsbury's up the road, they have a hot food counter. Now, I didn't do this on Sunday because, as you know, once again, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight. Now, please don't say, don't worry, you look all right. I must lose a bit of weight. I'm just a touch over 13 stone now. Now, if those of you that have been with us for a few years, okay, will know that this time last year, my weight was 11 stone 13. So I've put on a stone, 11 stone 13, 12 stone, about a stone and a bit, okay? So I want to just go down to 12 stone and I'll be happy. I'll be happy at 12, so I'm trying to do that. I've cut out the crisps, although I did have one bag in the last week. I had one bag, so that's not too bad, is it? I don't think when you're on these diets and things like that, I don't think you should feel guilty now and again falling off the wagon. I really don't. I'd like to lose about a stone, okay? So I'm doing that at the moment. So I didn't purchase anything from the hot food counter this week. I want to point that out quickly now. So Suko, no need to confess to you, I have not sinned. Hallelujah! Chris Reardon hasn't sinned. Hallelujah! 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 It's true, I haven't sinned this week. And so the hot food counter. Oh, yes. I notice now and again, if you get the right person up there, you can get... Now, I shouldn't really... Come closer. Come closer. Closer to the speaker, right? Shouldn't really... You mustn't tell the people in the supermarkets this. But if you get certain people... Okay? Let me just check there's no one listening. If you get certain people working behind the hot food counter, you can actually get more than what you paid for. Oh, yes. Now, the people to look out for are, right, lads, youngish lads who like a bit of a chat, and elderly ladies. Okay? They're the ones. What you do is you start chatting. Chat, 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 chat. Friendly, friendly. Ha, ha, ha. Smile, smile, smile. Right? Like that. And you ask them if they're elderly ladies about your family, or if it's a bloke and you're able to talk about football. That's a good one. What team do you support? Ask him first. Oh, Chelsea, mate. Now, I say Chelsea because that is the team that my little nephew supports. Now, I know absolutely nothing about football whatsoever. I can just about say the names Michael Owen. Oh, who's that bloke? Rob something or other. Oh, did you see him in his pictures advertising underwear? Oh, I had to have a cold bath very quickly. I really did. What was his name? Rob Lambert? Something like that. Very gorgeous. And very few know. And that's about all I know about football. So, you ask the lad behind there before you make your purchase, tell them what you want. You ask them what team they support. Oh, I support Chelsea. They might say something like, really? Oh, I support them as well. Excellent game last week. Did you see it? And they say, yes. Right? What was your favourite part of it? And let them do the talking. And then make your order. Now, obviously, if you're only buying a single item like a pasty or a sausage roll, bit difficult to get more than the one, okay? But I've sussed out, right? because they do these lovely little roast potatoes, and you can have like a portion of roast potatoes is maybe £1, something like that. But I noticed if I talk to the person, and if it's an elderly lady, then you start talking. Oh yeah, I haven't had roast potatoes for ages. When's the last? And they say, when's the last time you had them? Oh, when I went up to visit my sister up north. I can't be cooking for myself. It's just I can't do any of it. It's so nice to have. And then they start piling the roast potatoes in the bag. Yes, and you get more than what you paid for, my loves. And the lad is the same. Usually, I noticed this, usually they weigh them out carefully. If it's a blonde young girl in her 20s on the till, don't bother. You've got no chance of getting anything out of her, I'm afraid. No chance whatsoever. They've got to be chatty young lads or older ladies, sort of above... I would say above 45, okay? They're the ones that you can get the little extras. Get a little extra help. Anyway, the last time I went up there, I was talking to this lad up there. Hello, mate. Oh, you look a bit tired today. Yeah, I've been here since so-and-so. And what time do you finish? 5 o'clock. I said, oh, well, you haven't got too long to go yet. I'll tell you what, I'll have some of those, I'll have a pasty, please. And can I have some of those, what those baked potatoes like? They look really nice, mate. Oh, I'll have, yeah, can I have a portion of those? Yeah, of course you can, mate. And he starts shoveling in the bag. Didn't even weigh them. Didn't even weigh them. So there's a way, right? Be friendly and you get more. Now, how on earth did we get onto that subject? Oh, God knows. Now, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, the toothbrush, the toothbrush. It's a good job I've got these bits and pieces written down in front of me, isn't it? Otherwise, I completely forget what I was talking about. The toothbrush was the Oral-B Triumph. Supposed to be the bee's knees of toothbrushes. Incidentally, if you're outside the UK, bee's knees means the best. Okay, so if you thought Frank Sinatra was the best singer of all time, then you say Frank Sinatra was the bee's knees. He was the bee's knees, okay? Anyway, a little bit of slang for you there, okay? So I went looking around for this toothbrush, and I found it. Did I find it in there or one of the other shops? I can't remember now. Yeah, I found it in there, and I had £60 in my pocket because I thought this is going to cost a little bit more than the other one, so I take £60 out with me. It's about $120. Actually, no, it's is it more than, I think that's, is it more than, no, it's about 100, oh, I can't be bothered. You know, it's a roughly double, isn't it? About 120 US dollars. So I went up there and I found all these toothbrushes, and I had £20, £30. I thought, well, these aren't the ones. And then I saw it glistening in its own little display case, the Oral-B Triumph. And I looked at it. £123, dear. £123 for two. I thought, no. I am not spending that on a blooming toothbrush. You are having a laugh. Now, I expected it to be a little bit more, but that's taking the Michael, that is. So, yeah, I'm sure on the television they said it was something like £60. So I don't know about that. Oh, I could have a look on eBay, couldn't I? I never thought of that. And can I just get myself... I'm not comfortable. Yeah, I could have a look on eBay, something like that. Maybe I'll find it on there. I'm going to make a note of that. Try eBay. Now, if you don't know what eBay is, those of you listening to radio, it's like this thing on the internet, and people put things on there that they either don't want, or they might have bought something and got it really cheap, and they sell it on eBay. And quite often, you can get very cheap items on there. I get a lot. Most of my clothes now on eBay, and I'm quite proud of that. Oh, I'm not one of these stuck-up puffs who walk around in all these designer label things. People often say, "Do you like your lifestyle?" Well, what do you mean? The whole thing. I'm only in it because I quite like lads. Okay, the whole. What do you mean? The whole scene of the designer labels and. Walking around with your nose stuck in the air, going around telling everyone how much you got and all this. Can't be doing with it, dear. Can't be doing it. That's probably why my favourite place I'm working at the moment is the Straight Bar in Hammersmith, Belushi's, which I've mentioned once or twice, but I am there. If you ever want to join us down there, we have a great laugh on a Monday night. We do karaoke. That's between 9 p.m. and 12 midnight. Belushi's Bar in Hammersmith, okay? Every Monday night karaoke, and I DJ every Saturday night there between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it's such a laugh in there, and I do have a laugh with all the people, so do pop down there if you're ever around Hammersmith, okay? So there we are. So hasten to say I did not buy that toothbrush, and I came back home and I looked at my toothbrush and I thought, no, it's not so bad after all. Would you spend that on a toothbrush? 120 quid? Hell of a lot of money, isn't it? Maybe they'll have a special offer at some point, and that will work like that. Right, what else have I got to tell you? Oh, yes, a letter arrived this week. Now, I don't know where you live, but does the council or the authority that looks after the area where you live, presumably you have to pay them some sort of tax and what have you, do they ever send you round surveys? So you get a little booklet with what do you think of the cleaning, good, bad, awful, you know, that sort of thing. And you have to tick boxes. Do you ever get those? Well, I got one a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, not another survey. And it went, I'll be honest with you, it went straight in the bin. I can't be bothered. I'm afraid I'm one of those people that believes you can't actually get the council to do what you want. They just go ahead and do whatever they want. Now, I have experience of this years ago in the council-run swimming pool where they decided to do some work in the pool, and a lot of people did not want this work done. It involved changing the showers, okay, so that they became unisex. That's right, boys and girls sharing the same showers. Now, I'm sorry, that means you can't take your trunks off, doesn't it? Although I have been told that it is quite a common thing in the rest of Europe, France and all round there. Well, I'm sorry, my dears, the United Kingdom is not most of Europe. Some people say it is, I say it's not. The United Kingdom is the United Kingdom, okay? And we do not like to take our clothes off in front of the ladies. Is it just me? Is it me? Tell me, is it me? Anyway, they had this work done, and I wrote in letters. Other people wrote in letters. A survey was done, and it all sent in. And you know what? They didn't take a blind bit of notice. And that's one of the reasons I do not believe that councils will always do what the people want. I really don't. So I chucked this survey in the bin. Well, lo and behold, I couldn't believe it. Saturday, the same survey, not the one I chucked in the bin, obviously. Well, I say I chucked it in the bin. I just want to point out the recycle bin, okay? Very important. I always do my recycling. Oh, and slightly going back to the supermarkets. Look, I am collecting. I've got them all here. I'm collecting all different coloured recycled bags at the moment. There's a red one. And I've got blue ones, which you can use over and over again. The only thing is, I don't know about you, but I now have a cupboard full of recycled carrier bags. The ones that you keep using over and over again. And every time I go to the blooming supermarket, I forget again. Does anyone else do that? I've got a cupboard full of these things, dear. Can't keep buying them. All right, back to the story then. Yeah, so this survey arrived again, and I opened it and said, "Dear sir, we sent you a survey a while ago, but you didn't fill it in. We're wondering if you could possibly reconsider." I thought, oh, I might as well fill it in. So I did fill it in. But do you know what? I was most disappointed. Most disappointed. I don't mind doing something for people. But occasionally you expect something in return. Now, certainly, you know when the charities send you letters and ask for money and that sort of thing, and they often send you in a little form, like a direct debit thing. They always send you a free pen, don't they? You always get a free pen. The RSPCA, the cancer health people, heart attack people, stroke organisations, you usually get a free pen. Those tight-fisted so-and-sos at the council, nothing. There was nothing. No pen, nothing. No free trip to the cinema, no free trip to the swimming pool. You got nothing from the council. All I had was this blooming... I thought, why should I use my own personal ink to fill in this form, which should go in a... Which they probably got to send out these forms through legislation or something like that. And I thought, no one's going to take any notice of what I say. What is the point? And that, I'm afraid, is the general opinion I've got of councils. Now, I have to say, this particular council where I live, Bracknell Forest Council, I think do a reasonably good job. But even so, I don't believe I can sway their decisions one day or the other. I think... I do think these people that work for councils now are looking after their own jobs. I think years ago when I was a child, people who worked in councils looked after the area that they were supposed to look after rather than their own jobs. Now it all seems to be about money, as everything else, doesn't it? The guy at the top is earning vast sums of money. I think the same sort of thing with members of parliament. If you want to serve as a member of parliament, you should do it for your country, not for the pay packet at the end of it. Does anyone else think that they can really actually change how their authority does things wherever you are in the world? Let me know on the email. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, on to our emails. And I was saying earlier on in the show about people, let me just do something there we are, about people who had been listening to the show for a number of years and will know I've always had this little demon with weight and that sort of thing. One of those people would be the lovely little Katilyn, who's, is she 17 now? I think she's either 16 or 17, aren't you, my darling? She's been with the show and she's written here, "Dearest Uncle Chris, I hope you are well. I am so excited because on October the 23rd, and I think this is the show nearest to that, I will have been listening to United Kingdom Talk for 2 years. How the time flies." Well, it certainly does, my love. "Thanks so much for all of your hard work. You have a gift to make others smile." I hope so. That is what I like to do. I like to make other people smile. Sometimes it's very hard, Katilyn. Very hard, but other times it's not so hard. "I am so glad God allowed me to stumble upon your show." She says, "Anyway, you rock. Let's rock together. Yeah. We will rock you. Yep. Keep up the brilliant work, my love. I feel so privileged to be considered your friend." You are my friend, my dear. Everyone who listens and watches the show is a friend, and we are all friends with each other. That's the beauty of this programme. We have all people listening to this, all religions, all colours, all getting together 3 times a week for a bit of a chinwag and to put the world to rights. We love it. You are a beam of happiness shining into your life. Let the sun shine, let the sun shine, the sun shine in. She says, "I will remain always a loyal listener and friend to your smashing programme. You are forever in my thoughts and prayers. You will always be my sunshine. Thanks for everything. Here's a big virtual hug." Hug for you too. All right. Okay, Katilyn. Put your arms by your sides. Close your eyes. I'm going to give you a big hug. My arms are going around you now. Hug, squeeze. Oh, we like a squeeze. Go squeeze. All right? Love you always, your violinist friend, Katilyn May. The Lord bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you, and may his mercy and love, grace, envelope you. That's a nice little bit of a religious bit at the end there. Thank you for that, Katilyn. If you can, please sing a song for me. I would love it if you could sing either The Sound of Music or You Are My Sunshine. Well, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when I am sad. Da, 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 da. I can't remember the rest of it. Da, 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 da. Please don't bring my sunshine around. I can't remember the rest of it. But there you are. I'll tell you what I have got, Katilyn. Suko in New York and I had a little bit of a conversation on the old Skype the other day, and Suko suggested that myself and her sing a song together. So how about we dedicate that to you, okay? Right, let me put my headphones on. Where are my headphones? Oh, how strange. Oh, they're right over there. Oh, I can't get to them without moving my Dalek and my... I've got a Dalek and a plant behind me. Hang on a minute. Let me get these over here. There we are. Now, this was something Suko and I recorded actually a couple of weeks ago. And I thought I'd better play it today because she's been moaning to James Dean from the matinee show. She's been moaning to him that, oh, he hasn't played it yet. Suko, all these things take time, my dear. It all takes time. So I'm going to put my headphones on, and I do hope you enjoy this. Suko and I singing Don't Go Breaking My Heart. See what you think of this. Here we go, boys and girls. Join in if you know the words, all right? Don't go breaking my heart.
I couldn't if I tried.
Ah, honey, if I get restless.
Baby, you're not that kind.
Oh, you are my kind Suko.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Wait up for me.
Now, hang on a minute. Why are you mentioning my weight, Suko?
Well, maybe I swing the other way. I don't know.
You just mentioned my weight. I mean, you know,
to me.
you know,
look fine to me, all right? You look fine.
You know what I'm like about mentioning my weight, dear. I wish you wouldn't do that. We'll carry on, shall we? Here we go. Ah, honey, when you knock on my door.
Oh, I gave you my key.
Here we go together. Ooh, and nobody knows it. When I was down,
I was your clown.
ooh, and nobody knows it. Right from the start,
I gave you my heart.
ooh, I gave you my heart. So don't go breaking my heart.
I'll go breaking my heart.
Don't go breaking my heart. And nobody told us.
'Cause nobody showed us.
And now it's up to us, babe.
Oh, I think we can make it.
So don't misunderstand me. Where have you gone? Oh, put the sparks to the flame. Keep up, dear, keep up.
I got your heart in my side.
Oh, you're back with the Suko. Together. Ooh, and nobody knows it.
Nobody knows.
When I was down,
I was your clown.
ooh, and nobody knows it.
Nobody knows.
Right from the start.
I gave you my heart.
Oh,
I gave you my heart.
don't go breaking my heart.
I'm also breaking your heart.
Don't go breaking my heart. Okay, now we're all going to have a dance around the room. Jump off out your chairs. Where's those little children that are with you? Up you get. Come on, dance with me. Oh, yeah, baby. Boogie, boogie, boogie. Yeah.
Doing backup too.
Robbie Williams, eat your heart out.
Oh, Rob.
Ooh, and nobody knows it.
Nobody knows it.
But when I was down,
I was your clown.
right from the start,
I gave you my heart.
Oh, I gave you my heart. Don't go breaking my heart.
I won't go breaking your heart.
Don't go breaking my heart. Don't go breaking my heart. Yes! We got through it, Suko! Now, it sounds to me like you have a little choir there as well. Is that right?
Yeah, they just left though.
Oh, where have they gone?
Come back here.
Come back. And in fact, they didn't come back. Probably a good thing as well. There we are. All right, Suko and myself, there we are singing Don't Go Breaking My Heart, especially for little Katilyn, who celebrates 2 years of listening to the show. All right, Katilyn? Nice to hear from you, my darling. Hope the violin lessons are going well as well. All right. OK, on we go then. Got to say hi to Rachel. Now, Rachel, we finished off the last show with sort of half of her email, so here's the rest of it. Now, Rachel is currently living in Central Florida. And she says, I'm listening to the last week's Tuesday show right now, and you were talking about the movie The Others, that Toby. I agreed this movie is very good. It stars American actress Nicole Kidman, who is a very good actress in my opinion, and is a This microphone's got a bit close to my mouth suddenly, hasn't it? Is that all right? Sorry, I don't know. It suddenly seems to just pop up, dear. It popped up. And is a suspense film about a woman who moves into a house with her 2 children who are allergic to sunlight. Oh, can you imagine that? It must be awful. I like nothing better than sitting out in the sun, don't you? Especially in the garden in the summer, which of course we've just come... I mean, when I say that, it's not particularly cold at all. And I'm glad to tell you, those of you who regularly listen to the show, my heating still has not gone on yet. I said to you a few shows ago... Hang on, let me just check my calendar. Oh, yes, that's it. I said to you a few weeks ago, I want to try and not turn the heating on until the 15th of December. I'm determined that these greedy utility companies and those countries that charge the UK a fortune for gas and oil, you're not getting a penny of my money. That's it. Not a penny, dear. Sell us gas and oil at a reasonable price, and I might consider turning it on. But at the moment, see, you've dug your own graves, haven't you? What you going to do now? All over the world, people are now talking about this programme. Here, you heard about that Chris Reardon? He's finally made a stand. He's not buying any more gas or electricity. The bare minimum to survive on I've got here. The bare minimum. Like, all I do, and now and again I turn the light on just for this. That's how much I think of you, you see. Just to make this programme, I turn those lights on so that you can see my old haggard face. Huh? Back to the email. She said, as I say, it must be awful to be allergic to sunlight. There are, of course, plenty of people who are. It takes place during the Civil War, this film, and she is waiting for her soldier husband to return from war. Oh, I wish. I hope one day to be waiting for a soldier to return home to me. What can you do, Rachel? We wait and hope. Strange things happen, and she suspects the house is haunted. Ooh. Actually, have I got any haunted? Oh no, I've closed that down. We're going to get you. Kill them! Kill them! Sorry, I quite carried away then. That's all I can tell you without spoiling the plot, but it's definitely worth watching if you are a fan of suspense films, which I am. Is this a new film, Rachel? By the way, I love the name Rachel. I love the name. I think I've caught a bit of British fever, she says, because I've recently been very interested in the BBC network. Oh, hang on, BBC. We've said the word BBC. We have to get down on one knee and genuflect to the almighty BBC. We really do. Up we get again. They used to have BBC One, which is the main TV channel here in the UK. They used to have a symbol which was a globe turning round, and they got rid of it years and years ago. I do miss that. Anyone else miss that? The BBC One globe. Oh, it's beautiful. It's my favourite part of watching the telly, to be honest. Especially, and unfortunately, BBC One is now 24 hours, so we don't get it anymore. But at the end of the day, when they used to close down, they would play the national anthem, and this revolving globe would continue turning for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm getting a bit anarchy now. Eric in Slovakia, I'm getting anarchy. This is your fault, Eric. Eric, regular listener in Slovakia and friend to United Kingdom Talk. She says, I've recently been very interested in the BBC network and British culture. My favourite current thing to watch are the new seasons of Doctor Who. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've got to have the Doctor Who music. No, I can't. Can I? Closed it down now. Never mind. I wanted you to know if you have seen it and if you like it or not. Let me tell you, I am one of Doctor Who's biggest fans. I love it. Doctor Who has been going here in the UK, I think, since before I was born. Or was it 1963? Was that the year? Was it the year I was? I think 1963. It's been going since, and has had various different doctors. My favourite of whom was John Pertwee. That was my personal favourite doctor. Peter Tennant is fantastic. He just plays that character so well, I think. So, yes, I love it. Also, I wanted to know what you think about Billie Piper. Well, Billie Piper's no longer in it, my darling. I'm not quite sure which season you're watching there. Is it played out on an American TV channel? Or are you buying the DVDs? Or how does that work? Okay? I think Peter Tennant, I believe, is into his 3rd season. So I'm not sure which ones you're watching. But Billie Piper... I won't say how, but if you're still on the old season, then Billie Piper, all I will say to you is that eventually she leaves the show and is replaced by Donna Noble, who actually is fantastic. Donna Noble is very good. Billie Piper, who do I prefer, Billie or Donna? Neither. They are both very good and very different characters. So if you haven't seen Donna Noble yet, you've still got that to come. She's really good at it. Really very good indeed. Rachel says, according to online sites, she was a very successful singer when she was younger, but was wondering what your perspective was if you know of her. Yeah, she was a very good singer, and she sang Because You Want To, and Girlfriend, and what else? Oh, she did have quite a few hits, and she was a pop girl, you know, she did pop. Yes, I like her very much. She's done a lot of sort of different things with the acting, and of course she was married to that DJ Chris Evans for a while. Okay, and then they got divorced, but they appear to have been quite good friends afterwards. So that's nice, isn't it? I think it's very nice when you split up from someone and you are actually able to remain friends. I think it's a very unusual situation to be in. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I really like all of her work, Billie Piper, yes. Rachel says, they called her a pop princess, which is the title given to Britney Spears in the States. But Piper doesn't seem to be the train wreck that Britney is. But this could just be the online media being nice to Piper. No, you're right. You're right. I don't think Billie Piper ever went down that route. Maybe she had support behind her. Some people are stronger than others. I've been very lucky. I never really went down the drinks, getting drunk and doing all the drugs and all that business. I never went down that route when I was depressed either. You know? Some people do. Britney Spears appears to have had a terrible time. And it's funny, you know, and Robbie Williams as well. And sometimes with these people, I read the stories and that, and obviously I'm not a successful pop artist known worldwide and by thousands of millions of people like Robbie Williams. However, I think in a similar sense, if you had places where a lot of people are dancing to what you're doing, or perhaps even watching a show, then there would be similarities between myself and Robbie, although he's a huge star and I'm just a little bloke in a little room here. And I do sometimes see the trouble that these people get into and want to pick up the phone and kind of become their friend. You see, the trouble is with becoming stars like that, and I've seen stars come into places that I'm working with hangers on, and that's always really, really sad. I saw Michael Barrymore, who's had a very hard time here as well. I've seen him come into a couple of places I've worked in, and he's got hangers on, and I want to go up to him and say, look, Michael, they're taking you for a ride. But unfortunately, a lot of pop people have got that. If Robbie Williams rang me, or you know, not necessarily anyone, if any star rang me and says, hello, Chris, whatever, can I come round and talk to you about it, then I would have them here, and you wouldn't know about it. I'd keep it to myself. A lot of these stars, they need someone to talk to and someone they can confide in. But they haven't got it. All they've got is these people who, the moment they know something, go running to the newspapers, or the newspapers are partly to blame as well. They realise that perhaps a star knows the bloke down the road, and then the papers go to the bloke down the road and say, tell us all about it. Maybe the bloke down the road at first says, no, that's private, we'll give you £20,000. And then they go and spill the beans. And I just think that's awful. I'm sure you've seen the stories in the newspapers many times about these girls who go with, and I've seen it with boys as well. I've seen it with boys as well who have gone with stars and then gone running to the paper and telling them about their night of passion and perhaps what a disappointment it was. How awful is that? What scum are you to do that? Some people might even be saying at the moment while they're watching or listening to this show, but you'd do it. No, I wouldn't. Not for £1 million. I wouldn't do it. Maybe that's the morals. I'm not saying I'm goody two-shoes, far from it. But I do have certain morals that I like to stick to. And I just think it's awful. Well, you're mentioning Britney Spears and her demons. Did she have anyone to talk to? You can't always turn to family with these things. I remember years ago when I was in trouble with a particular relationship. Not once did I go to mum and dad and say, look, this is what's happening. I kept it to myself. I didn't want to upset them. Maybe these stars cannot go to their families because they don't want to upset them. So where can they turn to? They put their trust and faith in someone, bang, they're let down. How many times do you do that before you shut off and you don't talk to anyone again? Awful, isn't it, really? But I do see these stars, and I wish sometimes I could pick up the phone and say, come round and have a chat. I wouldn't want anything for it. But I'd certainly keep my mouth shut. They just want someone to talk to. How many of us, watching or listening to the show at the moment, sometimes on a day that we're really down, and I get them as well, just the same as you. I bet you do this. Everyone listening or watching the show now must get days where they're down and all they want to do is talk to someone. Let us know what you think about that, boys and girls, okay? Email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, Rachel goes on to say, so Billie Piper, no, I think she must have had people around her because she didn't go down the same route that Britney did. It's horrible, though, when newspapers jump on stuff. They build them up and they rip them down again. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. If you are a fan of ABBA, Rachel says, which I am, yes. Oh, yes. If you change your mind, take a chance on the first train line. Take a chance on the uptown free. Take a chance on me. Take a chance. If you lead me, let me know. Oh, I love ABBA. Yes. If you're a fan of ABBA, which I am, there's a very good Australian movie called Muriel's Wedding. There's another one I haven't seen, believe it or not. Now, a lot of people have seen that, Rachel. I have not seen Muriel's Wedding. Anyway, she says it's about a girl who listens to nothing but ABBA music and her life's dream is to get married. Oh. Oh, I get all sentimental now. One day, Rachel, I too hope to be in that white, red, well, maybe not white, with a piece of net curtain over my face. She says, I also listen to Gregorian chants, which I mentioned a couple of shows ago, for concentrating. A fact about Gregorian chant is that it is cappella with no accompanying instruments. And it is monosymphonic, which means all of the singers sing the same note. Now, I suppose so, yeah. This is the reason it is great for working or concentrating. Compare it to how people who meditate use the om sound to focus their minds. Yeah, you know that om sound? Om, om, om. You know that one? But Gregorian chant, it's lovely. All people singing the same thing. There have been, I think, Gregorian chants that later on had music added to them. There's a Latin mass that will always stick in my head that I remember them singing when I was a child. I went to St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Roehampton, where eventually I went on to play the organ there. I don't go there anymore. And the Latin Mass, I think there was a title of it, but I don't know if you know the tune. It went, Kyrie eleison, and it went on like that. Beautiful, just beautiful. And they had music, and it actually sounded quite good with the music as well. One last thing, every time you mentioned the onion and cheese pasty, no, it's cheese and you've got to get it right the right way round, my dear. It's cheese and onion pasty, Rachel. She says, every time you mention the onion and cheese pasty, it makes me hungry. I've found some recipes for pasties online, so I'll let you know how it turns out. Yeah, go and have a go. What you got to lose? Try making some pasties. One last thing. Oh, sorry. I have much more to say, but I will try and save it for another email sometime next week, and that's from Rachel. Thank you very much for that, Rachel. Lovely to hear from you. Lovely email you wrote for me there. Thank you, Rachel. Quick one here from Carl Waring. I like this one, actually. Carl is a great friend to the show, and indeed to me. And he's helped me out on a number of occasions with technical issues, because sometimes I'm not very technical. Although I have to say that the equipment that I have now seems to be fairly reliable. It's not like the computers, I don't know, 10 years ago. You know, something will go wrong, or you get that blue screen up all the time, wouldn't you? I've got one computer running the XP and one running Vista, and they both work sort of reasonably. Don't really have a problem with them. Where's me a bit of... Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't said that. Anyway, Carl writes, the next time you sing, can you do it solo? That is, so low that we can't hear you. You're a funny person, aren't you, Carl? Very funny indeed. Dear me, you're still doing your amateur radio, are you? What a cheek. Thank you, Carl. Good to hear from you, sir. Yes, here we go. It's a man in Iceland. Bob the Viking in bankrupt Iceland. How are you, Bob? Chris and dear friends of United Kingdom Talk. Indeed, he says, the troubles between Britain and Iceland with talk of another Cold War does not help. I have received so far 2 nasty emails. I'm a little bit serious here. I've received so far 2 nasty emails from so-called friends with the starting line, "This is not personal, but..." which, of course, you know it is going to be just that, personal. It helps to have a thick skin, and what is news today becomes fish and chip paper tomorrow. You have to just smile and get on with life and see the funny side of things. That's my opinion. Bob, you know that's my opinion. But please, can I have some of my money back? Actually, I haven't got any money in Iceland at all, really. But, you know, if you could have a look, Bob. Because I've got a feeling it's you who's hoarding all the cash, is it? Is it you? Is it under your bed? You? Please, can we have our money back? Isn't it awful how I laugh at these things? I've got a wicked sense of humour. My last thoughts on this are, I have yet to truly come across an Icelander that does not hold things in British in high regard. And it is the international banks based here that have caused this. Of course it is. I know that, Robert. Sensible people realise most of the problems in the world are caused by a certain few greedy people who want either power or money. I don't want either of these things. All I want to do is sit here and chat. Wouldn't it be great if we could just sit and chat and not worry about it? I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. He says, of course, we've got the councils here who said they had money in Iceland, and they're saying, oh, well, we've lost so many millions of pounds, but don't worry, it won't affect us. Oh, of course it won't affect you, dear. Won't affect the ones at the top. Why can't the ones at the top take less money? Thousands of pounds I have. Thousands. This is where the problem is. It's all these bosses of councils and organisations paying themselves thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. That is why the world's in such a bad state, if you ask me. It's not the small man in the street, like you, Bob. Except I do know that you have got some of the English money under your bed. I just know it. You're holding on to it, aren't you? He said, and it's the international banks based here that have caused this. I use an Icelandic bank that does not dabble in international markets. We are all in this together, and together we will get through this. Wider, wider and wider, onward. Yeah, we need a rousing song that we can all sing together. Who's going to write that for me, eh? We need a rousing song that will keep us all together, marching. Keep right on to the end of the world. Eh? He says, cheap snide remarks do not help, and in my mind defines the character of the person making those remarks. I think you're right. I think you're right. So please, come on, lads. No more nasty emails to Bob in Iceland. As long as he sends the money back. Now, flying, on the subject of flying, because Bob used to be, he is a pilot. And he used to fly mostly from Paris to Toulouse, Paris to London, Heathrow. And they let you in at Heathrow? Oh, you must have been a very good pilot. Heathrow! God's sake! And Paris to JFK. It was flying left seat, captain. Aye, aye, Captain. From Paris to Toulouse that I had to leave the plane to get some documentation from the office and hence found myself walking through the departure area. Oh, I thought for a moment you said you were going to tell me that you had to leave the plane while it was still flying. I thought, how's he managed to do that? Now, I had my uniform on and it was on the return back to the plane that I found my path blocked... my passengers getting their boarding passes checked. What a cheek, dear. How rude are they? I asked politely if I could pass through. Wait your ruddy time, mate, in a broad English accent, came the reply from one of the passengers. Now, many thoughts came to my mind at that point. Before I had the chance to reply, the desk officer guided me through. How blooming rude is that, eh? I'm not sure where the idea comes from that we earn a lot of money. Well, you do, don't... Pilot? What do you mean pilots don't earn a lot of money? You're on a blooming fortune, you lot. You must be on a fortune, you lot. He says, I wonder if people understand just how much one has to pay often to learn how to fly in the first place. Well, you haven't got to tell me about that, to be honest, Bob. I had one flying lesson, OK, only one, and that cost me £125. Just for one lesson. I'm fully aware it does. Those of you that don't know that, most pilots have to learn to fly and pay for it themselves, and it costs an absolute fortune to learn to fly, believe me. He says, sure, many come from the Air Force or training programmes run by airlines, but a lot pay to do this themselves and carry an awful lot of personal debts. We have to undergo testing twice a year on simulators, and they are very demanding. We have regular medical tests too, and a failure at any point can end your job. I had it once said to me that the computers fly the plane and all you do is be there in case something goes wrong. He says, what? For real people, it is not so. Sure, computers can and do a lot of the work. And yes, to be honest, one could build a plane that does not need pilots. But I tell you what, I wouldn't get on one of those. No way. You've got to have a pilot on a plane. Would you want to fly on one? No, I wouldn't. We have to deal with everything once a plane has moved from the gate. The list, medical problems, people being rude and aggressive. He said, that said, it is a lot of fun and I have had a blast. I smiled when you were talking about reversing a van because it brought to mind a time. And that's where I have to leave it today. There you are. I've hooked you in for the next episode because I've run out of time. Thank you as always for joining me on the show. Lots of emails are still waiting to be read out. They'll all come up. Don't worry. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk if you want to join in. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.